Well, I bought a 1977 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. This is an original black and gold car, and I know we all have kind of that dream, like our dream cars, like everybody wants a Koenigsegg or a LaFerrari or something like that, right? But those are not usually attainable cars for most people. But then we kind of have this separate list of cars that are attainable or close to attainable, and this Trans Am is on that list. The third gen Camaro was on that list. The LC500 back there was on that list. My Indian Scout was on that list. My OBS Chevy truck was on that list. One of these has always been on that list, but they're always like priced around like some, $20,000 to $40,000 for a decent one. I never pulled the trigger until I found this one for $1,000. Now in the title I said this is an abandoned, barn find, whatever I said, right? And I'm not clickbaiting you. This was found in a barn, but I didn't find it in a barn. This was in a barn in Nebraska, I believe, and it was just sitting there in a bunch of hay, apparently, and it was kind of just sitting there left to rot. Now, I came about this car through the third gen, kind of a roundabout way. When I got rid of like some of the inner plastics and like parts that I didn't want for the third gen, I didn't want to sell them and like part out and make like 30, 40, 50 bucks at a time on things. I don't have time to do that. And I didn't want to give them away to somebody that was just gonna list them on eBay and flip them. I wanted to give them to somebody that would actually use them. So through Craigslist, actually, I found a guy named Clyde who actually, he owns like a ton of third gen. So he's all about these cars, he loves them. So clearly those parts were in good hands with him. Gave them to him, we developed a friendship. The other day I went down to go look at some of the third gens that he has, and then lo and behold, right across the street is this thing right here. And he knows the guy who owns it. And they're all friends and they kind of all work on cars and stuff together. There's some really cool cars at this place, and this is one of them. Why was this $1,000? Well, it's about 86 to 87% rust. I mean, this thing is covered in rust. The underside is just toast. The worst rust is at the back. The frame rails are shot. As you can see here, there's a ton of cobwebs and hay stuff everywhere. The suspension is shot. All the bushings are shot. Every seal around the trunk, the doors, all those are shot. The entire floor pan's pretty shot. Luckily, I think the subframe up front seems to be okay. We'll see. And get this, it only has 57,000 actual miles on this car. Might be the original motor, I'm not sure. Not sure if it runs. It ran when it went to this place. So if possible, first thing I want to do is to get it to run. That would be ideal because this thing's gonna have to be going around places, getting welded on, getting moved around the garage. And so if it was running, it would make it much easier than having to push the car all around or just get, I could get dollies or something. But yeah, there's a reason this car was $1,000. It is a serious project, and I could be in way over my head, I don't know. But I intend to see this through, and I think that at the end, I will end up spending, 20, 25 grand like what they would cost, what I would try to avoid paying. But what I get is learning how to do some new things that I've never done before. Welding's probably gonna be one of them. I get something to film and make a project for YouTube, and I get experience. So anyways, earlier today, I went and bought the car. Tires were flat on it, so I brought the wheels and tires from my third gen RS here, the stock ones that I had in the shed, and we threw it on the lift and then slapped those on, and man, when you see it on the lift, you can really get a grasp of how bad this car is. I mean, the whole underside is pretty much rust. It's a little bit better at the front versus the back, but man, it's a lot. But yeah, car wasn't running. We pushed it out of the garage. Clyde has a trailer, luckily. Used a winch to pull the car up on the trailer, strapped it in, and he drove it to my house where we parked it. Big thanks to Clyde, big thanks to Jeff, Stomp. Thank you guys for being on site there and hands on deck when we need to push the car around and stuff like that. Thank you guys so much. All right, so plans for the car. Very next video is just gonna be washing and detailing, getting all the crazy stuff out of this car. It is filthy. You saw the underside. Here's a look under the hood. All the leaves and crap everywhere. This whole thing's gonna get a deep clean just so I get I can see what the car is, I guess. You can kind of see, number one, it'd be gratifying to get it clean. Number two, you can kind of get a gist of what's going on. And then I want to try to get it running. If that becomes too involved of a process, we'll start on other stuff. So there's two routes I can take with this car. Number one, keep the 400 motor, get some new frame rails for the back, get floor pan, stuff like that, and then keep the 400 motor and just kind of restore slowly along that way. The second option would be to get a big frickin' Detroit Speed makes a whole chassis. There's a Spec, a company called Spec, and then a company called Detroit Speed that both make a full chassis for this car, which would be the most expensive way, but also probably the best way to restore the car. And then after throwing that chassis in, dare I say it, LS swap it maybe? Let me know in the comments if that's a bad idea or a good idea. But anyways, guys, for $1,000, I got the Trans Am. It'd be kind of stupid not to buy it at $1,000. Thanks so much, Jeff, for working with me and not selling it to somebody that wanted to part it out. I very much appreciate it. And again, this is a learning process for me, right? I don't know anything about second gen F bodies, well, hardly anything about second gen F bodies. So this is gonna be a learning process for me. So if you have any advice or if you know of any channels that do a lot of second gen stuff that I can learn from, put them down in the comments down below. Any suggestions you have for ways I can fix this or any ideas just in general about the car, my ears are always open. Leave it in the comments. I always read that stuff. Anyways, guys, this is the first video in the Trans Am playlist. Subscribe if you want to see more of this stuff. I do a third gen project. I do a little bit of stuff for the LC500, a little bit of stuff for the OBS Chevy, and then a little bit of, I have a series on the Indian Scout, and then just general reviews of stuff. So if you like what I do, subscribe, leave a like if this video helped you out at all. I don't know how it would help you out. And then comment down below again if you have any advice for me as far as second gen F bodies go. It would be greatly appreciated, and any and all advice is wanted. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna put an Amazon link down below for where if you want to get the car. I'm gonna put the Amazon link to where to find it. Smash it. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Bye.